Walk up to any seafood counter and you'll see a massive spread in price. One cluster of legs might be $15 a pound, while the giant claws sitting right next to it push $90. Picking the wrong one wastes your money, but it also physically ruins your meal. If you try to substitute a delicate, flaky meat into a heavy boiling pot, or serve a dense steak-like leg cold when it needs heat, the meat breaks down. The mistake we make is treating crab as a single ingredient. In reality, that ice display holds up to 5 distinct, biologically different species. To get what you're actually paying for, you need to understand the biology behind the price tag before you decide what's for dinner. The entire commercial market is split by a major evolutionary divide: brachyuran, which are true crabs, and anomuran, which are false crabs. This text box details a taxonomic key that makes identifying them easy: the 10-legged versus 8 visible leg rule. True crabs display 10 external limbs, 2 claws, and 8 walking legs. False crabs have 8 visible limbs, keeping a vestigial 5th pair tucked inside their gills. This anatomy dictates exactly what you're buying. A 10-legged true crab develops rich meat inside its central body cavity. An 8-legged false crab puts its energy into giant leg segments. Knowing how the animal is built is the first step in matching the right meat to your menu. The Atlantic blue crab is the market's flavor purist. You buy it strictly for its chemical makeup. On this matrix of flavor drivers, blue crab shows industry-leading levels of free glycine and glutamic acid, producing an intensely sweet umami profile. But the trade-off is physical. Yielding just 12 to 15% meat by weight, its fine-grained muscle fibers completely disintegrate if overworked. Plotted out on a chart, the blue crab maxes out on flavor and price, but scores very low on physical density and overall yield. Because it's so fragile, the meat has to be painstakingly picked by hand. You're paying for that labor. It's a premium price that makes sense when your recipe calls for pure, undisturbed lump meat, like a Maryland crab cake. If you want to feed a crowd without the luxury markup, you step away from the blue crab and look at the snow crab. With their laterally compressed legs and brittle shells, snapping the thin outer layer lets you pull out long, intact strings of meat in seconds. The compromise is the taste. It has a mild, clean, oceanic flavor and a stringy texture. You won't find the deep, savory umami of the premium species here. On our chart, snow crab sits right in the middle for flavor and density, but pushes high on yield and stays low on price. It's built for budget-friendly communal feasts, where the crab's main job is acting as a delivery vehicle for melted butter. On the other end of the spectrum is the red king crab, the undisputed luxury steak of the false crab family. This chart breaks down edible yield across species. The king crab column shows that its 8-legged biology concentrates muscle into gigantic, unbroken merus sections, delivering an impressive 25 to 30% meat yield. That massive size comes with extreme cost and a major culinary risk. King crab is usually cooked and flash frozen in super-chilled brine at sea. If you boil it in salted water or heavy sauces, you'll spike the sodium levels and turn its dense, lobster-like texture to rubber. Our chart shows king crab pushing high on flavor and yield, while maxing out entirely on density and price. It is a serious financial investment. You buy it for dramatic visual presentations and strict, simple reheating, usually a quick steam or a gentle bake. For a completely different luxury, there's the Florida stone crab, the market's unique, sustainable harvest. Harvesters catch these crabs live, snapping the claw at its natural joint before returning the animal to the water to eventually regenerate a new claw. What you get from those massive crusher claws is an ultra-dense, bouncy meat. The texture is actually much closer to a sea scallop than to typical flaky crab. But there is a strict biological limitation here. The proteins in stone crab react poorly to secondary heat. If you try to warm them up, the texture is ruined. Plotting it out, the stone crab hits high on flavor, peaks at maximum density, offers a moderate yield, and commands a luxury price tag. Because of those strict temperature constraints, you are buying a highly specialized cold appetizer designed for premium cocktail platters. Finally, if you're looking for the best all-around utility option for a whole crab dinner, you want the Dungeness crab. It leads the industry in meat recovery, giving you up to 28% of its total body weight in food. That means you get both substantial body lumps and thick, sweet chunks from the legs. It also offers a unique culinary bonus, the hepatopancreas, or crab butter, found inside the main shell. It's an intensely rich, savory paste you can whisk directly into sauces or broths. On our chart, Dungeness sits in the sweet spot: high flavor, median high density, maximum yield, and a moderate to high price. Its hearty flakes and massive body yield make it physically robust enough to survive boiling, allowing it to anchor complex seafood stews without falling apart. All of this biology really only matters when it's time to spend your money. Your choice comes down to the specific dining scenario you are planning. We can map this out on a decision quadrant. On the bottom axis, we track the preparation effort required. On the vertical axis, we track the price point. If you are hosting a high-volume, budget-conscious crab boil in the backyard, you want snow crab. Low price, low prep effort. For a hot, dramatic luxury dinner where you don't want to spend all night cooking, it's red king crab. Maximum price, very low prep effort. If you need a high-end centerpiece, but your scenario demands a chilled cocktail platter, you buy Florida stone crab. For an active, whole crab table dinner, or if you're building a rich seafood stew, Dungeness drops right into the center. Moderate price, moderate effort. Finally, if you are making premium crab cakes and need delicate meat that integrates perfectly into a binder, you pay for processed blue crab lump meat. The highest return on your investment at the seafood counter doesn't come from blindly buying the most expensive option. It comes from selecting the specific evolutionary biology designed for your exact menu.